Imagine a future where we lost Earth to our own machines, warped by a virus that turned them into something extremely hostile. Welcome to Punishing Grey Raven, a free-to-play anime-style gacha action RPG that's all about precision combat and stylish momentum. You lead Grey Raven from Babylonia, the last refuge in orbit, and every mission is part of a larger fight to take your home planet back. Punishing Grey Raven released globally in 2021, and over the years, PGR has kept a steady rhythm of new content and upgrades aimed at giving commandants better experiences, and it's also expanded how you can play. On May 15, 2023, the game launched its PC client, so you can choose the setup you're most comfortable with. And in July 2023, it celebrated its 2-year anniversary with a full English dub, which matters a lot if you prefer story delivery in English instead of reading translations mid-mission. Mankind is almost extinct. Earth has been conquered by a robotic army known as the Corrupted, twisted and warped by a biomechanical virus called the Punishing. The last survivors escaped into orbit to the space station Babylonia, and after years of preparation, the Grey Raven Special Forces unit leads the mission to reclaim the home world. You are their leader. If you've ever thought about starting PGR, then the Withering Crown update is the perfect time to jump in. Withering Crown officially launched on February 3rd, 2026. It has a mix of things that appeal to every type of player all at once. A major new character release, big story updates, a meaningful expansion to Babylonia as a playable hub, a brand new co-op mode, and even a Steam launch that makes it easier than ever to play on PC. Today's video is sponsored by Punishing Grey Raven, and you can use the link in the description and pinned comment down below to play today. If you've never played PGR, the combat is one of the biggest selling points. It's definitely not slow, and it's different from some games where you wait for cooldowns and watch burst animations. You're always doing something, moving, timing dodges, swapping characters, and trying to keep pressure without getting punished. The game has a signature match 3 style skill system, but don't worry because it's not as complicated as you think. Think of it as a fast way to trigger different attacks and combos while you're still playing an action game in real time. You also toggle between squad members during fights, so instead of controlling one character for an entire stage, you build a flow with 3 characters that can cover each other's openings. The version update Withering Crown is awesome because it's not just more of the same. It introduces Rosetta, and it does it in a way that feels so seamlessly integrated into the lore. Rosetta's first playable frame released back in 2022. A little over 3 years later, she's finally receiving a new frame in this update, and it's built to stand out mechanically and narratively. If you like characters who feel powerful but also disciplined, Rosetta is going to be your favorite character. She's the original leader of the Arctic Root Union's Forest Guard, and she once led that unit to defend the borders of New Murmansk. She's described as cold as Arctic snow and not naturally good at interacting with others, but what makes her compelling is this. Even though she's been branded as a sinner, her sense of duty and righteousness stays as unbreakable as her spear. Withering Crown drops her into the story where her arc demands resolve. A chain reaction triggered by the fall of Babylonia causes the glacier-sealed ruins of Old Sophiasburg to resurface. From within those ruins, massive punishing forces emerge and march toward New Sophiasburg. At their front is an undead leader, Zack the Frostheart Emperor, and behind him lurks the influence of the Ascendants. That detail is important because it signals that something bigger is truly in control of the entire conflict. To defend New Sophiasburg, Babylonia and the Arctic Root Union form a united front again in the Arctic regions. That alliance is a big deal in a setting like PGR because cooperation is never easy when everyone is fighting for limited resources and different groups have different priorities. The story unfolds amid what's described as the Frostheart War, and this is where Rosetta's return stops being a simple new character release and becomes a huge story climax, which if you've been on my channel, you know I love. The truth behind the Frostheart Emperor's assault and the destruction of Old Sophiasburg itself finally comes to light. To wipe out the darkness once and for all, Rosetta activates her new frame and charges back into battle in her humanoid centaur form. Gameplay-wise, Rosetta is a Dark Breaker frame featuring dual forms, humanoid and centaur. You can switch between those forms freely during combat, and each one plays differently on purpose. In humanoid form, Rosetta is agile and focuses on range combat, giving you the ability to pressure enemies from a safer distance and reposition quickly. In centaur form, she has high movement speed and favors close quarters combat, letting you commit harder, chase targets, and turn openings into full damage windows. Rosetta can feel rewarding at a basic level for new players, but also skill-intensive in a way that gives experienced players room to master her. Rosetta also brings a new system milestone to PGR because she's the first Breaker frame. If you've never played, Breaker just means her attacks can reduce a target PGR gets extra damage reduction, which is basically a way of cutting through enemy toughness so your team's damage hits harder. In a fast action game, the worst feeling is doing everything right and still being unable to beat a boss. Breakers are designed to solve that feeling by making enemies less resistant to the kind of burst windows PGR is known for. On top of that, triggering Matrix grants additional combat buffs for Rosetta. Matrix is one of PGR's signature combat moments where good dodging and timing turns defense into advantage. It's also worth calling out that Withering Crown is not only about Rosetta. The update expands the sandbox-style Babylonia feature in a big way, and this is where the patch becomes especially appealing for players who want a stronger sense of belonging in the main story. This version's main story unfolds in Babylonia, aiming for a more immersive narrative experience. Babylonia is the last refuge of humanity, a space station that carries everything people have left. You're now fighting for the only home that still exists. With this expansion, new areas like the Art Museum and the Military Security Area will become accessible. The Military Security Area is the practical reality: defense, logistics, survival, basically the systems keeping everyone alive. The Art Museum is the emotional side: memory, culture, what people refuse to lose even when the world is destroyed. Alongside those new locations, the update adds new interactive storylines featuring Lee and Liv, and multiple interactive characters will also join Babylonia. That kind of content is huge for immersion. Instead of story only being something you consume in cutscenes, it becomes something you walk through and experience as if you're actually there. On the style side, Withering Crown brings new coatings for characters such as Bianca and Nanami. If you're new to PGR, coatings are basically cosmetics, but in PGR they matter because combat is so visual. This way you get to appreciate the new cosmetics even more. In this update, Bianca Crepuscule's new SFX coating Night Sonata is being released. It adds an extra Ultima ring switch to her Ultima form for the first time, expanding Bianca's existing light and dark forms. That's meaningful even if you're not a Bianca main, because it shows the developers are willing to build on a character's identity rather than leaving them collecting dust in your roster. The matching main interface scene also incorporates gravity sensing design elements, which is a fancy way of saying that the presentation is meant to feel more reactive and dynamic instead of being a flat background. Then there's Hyperlink Array, the new co-op mode going live in this version. If you've wanted a reason to bring friends into PGR, this is it. Hyperlink Array lets you invite friends, form teams, and take on bosses together. The mode is designed with new skill types, progression systems, and boss interactions that give you more ways to express your combat skill, not just survive until the boss falls over. Co-op content can easily turn into chaos and action games, but when it's done well, it becomes the fastest way to create memorable moments. Withering Crown also marks a major accessibility moment for the game, because the PC version of Punishing Grey Raven will officially launch on Steam platform with this update. Even if you've already used the PC client, Steam is great for its accessibility and lessen friction. It's one more way for new players to discover the game naturally, wishlist it, and try it. For anyone who prefers action games on PC, especially with controllers, this is the kind of platform expansion that can bring a wave of new commandants into the community right now. If you're listening to all of this and thinking, that sounds like a lot, will I be behind? The best answer is that the Withering Crown is built with that sentiment in mind. A new major version creates a moment where the community is paying attention to the same story, the same character, and the same content at the same time. That's actually the easiest time to start because guides, discussions, and excitement are everywhere, and you're not trying to catch up quietly in the background. You really won't feel like you're late to the party. The final piece that really makes this update feel welcoming is the bonus event rewards. By taking part in sign-in events and various in-game activities, you can earn a range of free rewards that help you build out your roster and resources quickly. The rewards include Discord Sequitur's Coding Blossom Breeze, large quantities of event R&D tickets, and one free S-rank frame selector up to Ishmael Parhelion. Even if you don't recognize those names yet, the value is clear. You're getting cosmetics, you're getting pulls, and you're getting a strong frame choice to help your account start on the right foot. In a gacha-style system, that kind of early boost can be the difference between feeling stuck and feeling like you have options. Punishing Grey Raven is about to hit another big milestone with Withering Crown. Rosetta Arets is arriving as a Dark Breaker with dual forms that can help you swap freely, built to feel like a high-skill character while still being easy for new players to pick up. The story is pushing into a major Arctic conflict with Old Sophiasburg rising from the ice, an undead Frostheart Emperor leading punishing forces, and the shadow of the Ascendants behind all the chaos. Babylonia itself is getting a major expansion with new locations, interactive storylines with Lee and Liv, and more characters to meet. Bianca Crepuscule is getting a new SFX coating that expands her forms and comes with a gravity-sensing main scene. Hyperlink Array is bringing a new co-op experience where you can take on bosses with friends. This update is also handing out meaningful free rewards, including a Discord Sequitur coating, event R&D tickets, and a selectable S rank. If you've been waiting for a right time to try PGR, this is your chance. You get to step into a major patch on day 1, experience a new character who's designed to be very lore relevant, and explore a version of Babylonia that feels bigger and more alive than ever before. If you want to see what PGR feels like when it's firing on all cylinders, Withering Crown is the update to do it. Thank you so much Punishing Grey Raven for sponsoring today's video.